Hello, Southeast Iowa and all surrounding communities. Welcome to another edition of the King Kong Trail. I'm your host, Amy Vandiver, and sitting next to me is my co-host, Doug.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm good. How you doing?
I'm doing well. I'm doing good. I am doing fantastic.
Wow, that's kind of that's awesome.
Kind of confusing. I'm learning new adjectives today.
Have you been playing with the thesaurus again?
No, I haven't got to that word yet.
Indubitably.
I haven't got to that word yet.
Well, we have today one of our friends who's been with us on many trail walks on the King Kong Trail, our friend Russ Fry. Hey, Russ, how you doing?
I can't even come close to what I'm doing. Okay.
Well, we ran into you, not literally ran into you. We just kind of walked up to you and your brother when you were down at the Burlington by the Book at the farmer's market.
Oh, right.
And you told us, hey, I got a new book. And I'm like, well, hey, you need to come talk about it.
And here I am.
You are. We have, goodness, I think the last time you were on, we talked about the Black Hawk project that you're doing. So
Yep.
do you want to give our viewers an update on that? Because I'm really curious because you said something about that. And I'm curious.
We've submitted the preliminary application to have it recognized as an historic site. And of course, if we get it recognized as a historic site, we'll get grants and then make it accessible to the public. But you got to jump through a lot of hoops just to get the recognition. But I sent the preliminary application in, and they came back with 10 things that they wanted me to dig into and elaborate. So over a period of a month or two, I tracked down sources, and answered all their questions, and sent it back to them, and said, "Here it is again. What do you think?" So. A month or two, hopefully we'll get a reply from them, and they'll probably give me another list to track down, but I'll keep at it till they say yes.
Okay, well, we are really excited for you and hoping that instead of having to dig into more stuff for the grant, you can just dig in and find the rock.
Yes. Yeah, this is an important point. My wife owns a Victorian home, and if she wanted it on a National Historic Record, there would be newspaper accounts for proof and Sanborn's insurance maps and all sorts of evidence. But Native American stuff doesn't have that. And like one of their questions was from the historical people was, well, Black Hawk did not say where it was. Well, in European American standards, he didn't. We would say certain longitude and latitude or at the base of Osborne Street Hill or whatever. But the native people didn't do that. He actually said where it was, in a secluded but romantic spot amidst the bluffs near the river. But that leaves it open to speculation. And the natives knew where they was, but as soon as he said that, they knew what he was talking about. So we can't get the kind of proof to establish a native site that we could for a European American site, and that's a real dilemma. But anyway,
so they had 10 things, and you've already been able to turn in all those 10 things.
Right? Yeah. And they had another one was the Tama's village was in the autobiography, Black Hawk's autobiography. It said his village was a few miles north of Shaka Khan. Well, Black Hawk would not have said a few miles. He would have said like a half a day's horse ride, or for when the sun goes from here to here. And so they were questioning that. And basically the editor of Black Hawk's autobiography probably changed what Black Hawk said to match the way the readers would understand it.
Right.
There's all sorts of issues like that. So they bring them up. I try to knock them down.
Well, you're very persistent on that, and getting that recognized is going to be such. I mean, it's going to be. You got to have such a big, huge party thinking in your mind, going, "Oh my goodness, there's going to be so many things."
Yes. Yeah. So we'll keep at it.
Okay. Well, one step closer.
Yes.
But with governments, 2 steps forward, 1 step back.
Yeah,
Is that what you're
something
saying?
like that.
Okay. Well, your new book, When AI Enhances History, How to Improve Old Photos Without Distorting the Past. What made you want to do this book? I mean, you love history and you love preserving.
Right. Well, I have Microsoft products, and Copilot comes with that, and that's Microsoft's artificial intelligence. And I started playing with it with not any intention of doing anything, and it really made the pictures easier to see, but in some cases it actually put things in there that didn't exist. They call those hallucinations. And so I started reading what the legal system says about using enhanced pictures as evidence, and what journalists say, and documentarians say, and genealogists say. They all have a different language, but they all have similar rules. So I put together a book that will allow you to use artificial intelligence to enhance pictures, but how they have to be labeled if they've been altered in any way, like colorization, and the level of evidence you have to provide to make sure that the picture is still historically accurate. And I wanted to get this out. I don't know how much of a dent it'll make, but people are using in social media, they're using AI all the time on
Oh,
their
yeah.
pictures. And you may look at something and think it's historically accurate, and it's something that's in the mind of a computer somewhere.
Right, right. So, like when I see a picture of Abraham Lincoln riding on a bear, firing off a shotgun,
Yeah.
I should probably question that.
Yes, especially if he's got his cell phone in his other hand.
Yes.
But the AI enhancements to those would be intentionally modified pictures. We're doing something a little more subtle, and we'll show you when in one of the pictures when we get in. Because if the AI doesn't know what's there, it makes up something, and sometimes it's striking what it puts in.
I'm always amazed. I remember probably about 25 years ago, we started doing photography, and we would take pictures of people or fix pictures with what was that?
Photoshop, maybe.
Photoshop, yeah.
Yeah.
And it was very meticulous, and it took a long
Yep.
time to do anything, and it's just even fixing colorization or lighting,
Yeah.
things like that.
And you hit on the point of this revolution, is that the things that a lot of the things that AI is doing to photographs, you could have done before AI. But AI, you just tell it what you want to do, and it's there.
Automatic, yeah.
And there's the person who's asking this tool to do it isn't thinking about what is being done, and people are getting careless. At least as far as accuracy is concerned.
Right.
Why don't we flip to the first picture, and
Sure.
we'll start with a quiz for you. Go to the
Okay.
next one, please.
Oh.
I'm asking you folks to look at that picture and tell me where it's at. When the audience sees this, if they're from Burlington, maybe they could even guess.
Well, downtown, Vine
Yep.
Street, maybe?
Where?
Second or third?
3rd Street,
Okay.
South 3rd.
South 3rd and Central?
Looking down from Maple Street.
Yeah,
Looks like.
it's between Maple and Elm.
Okay.
Looking towards, or not Maple, Elm and Maple, looking towards downtown.
Right.
Okay, now let's look at the next picture. That is
Oh.
the same view about 1858. And I know that it's at least 1858, because there's a church in there that wasn't built. It was built in 1858, and that church is in there. So I've dated that. So that's an original historic picture that matches the same view we just saw, and you can see that things have changed quite a bit,
Oh, yeah.
including the hill that this part of that first picture, the hill, has been carved away. Now, if we could look at the next one, that is an AI enhanced picture of that original.
Oh wow, that's so much clearer.
It's so much clearer, and the reason it's clearer, the way AI works. Now you can take a photograph, and if, like you said, you used to do some photography and then editing it, you can enlarge it, but these are digital photographs, and a digital photograph is made up of pixels, little
yep.
dots. And if you enlarge it, all that does is make the dots bigger. Okay, AI adds dots. And so if there's a dot here and a dot there, it figures out what color or what to put in between them. So it adds dots.
Huh.
And pretty much it'll give you an accurate picture. And increase the detail of an enlarged picture. So that is a good example of a use for AI. You can study that picture and get a good deal to know about Burlington. And just for fun, there's a church tower on the center right. Okay. That was a Lutheran church. That was on the northwest corner of 5th and Division, where the what is it, Assembly of God Church is at now, the old Nafis building.
Okay, the old Nafis building, Harmony.
Harmony, that's right.
Yeah.
Okay. And so, it's just neat stuff like that. There's a building down there on the lower right that Abraham Lincoln gave a speech in.
Oh.
Grimes Hall in 1858. So anyway, I do all this stuff, and it helps me study Burlington, and so that when I'm doing research and they show a picture of something, I can help date the picture, and I get some idea of how Burlington functioned and how it grew up. So I do all that studying. Now let's move on to the next one and see what we got here. Okay, now here's the first. What we're hoping we can do is lay out some rules for your viewers on how to use AI. And the first rule is you got to decide whether it's private use or public use. If it's private use for your own personal satisfaction, AI away. Don't worry about anything.
Right.
It's up to you, and it doesn't hurt anything. Well, I shouldn't say that completely, but it's for fun. Now, public use is different. If you're going to offer to the public, like you folks do, if you start adding some pictures to your things, you want to make sure that they're historically or that they're accurate. So the first rule about whether it's public use is whether it's fiction or it's supposed to be providing community information or providing public information. If it's fiction, put Abraham Lincoln on the back of a horse or back of a bear. But if you guys have a journalistic responsibility to provide accurate picture, then there are rules to follow, and then that's what we're breaking down here today.
Okay. Well, that makes sense, especially in your line of work, because take, for example, if someone was trying to do some research or put something on a historical register and they needed proof of something.
Yeah.
A lot of these pictures enhanced could say, hey, this is where this was at this time, and it, different things like that.
Yep.
But, just, yeah.
Well, you wouldn't want it to put something that isn't there into the picture, and then they find out that it's not there. Then you lose all credibility.
Right. There was a picture, Doug follows a band, and there was a picture of all the band with all the previous members all together and looking like they're all getting along. And he's like, this is AI. And he's like, that person's hand is half cut off. This person has 7 fingers on this hand. Just little things that you're like, this just feels fake.
Yeah.
And you probably just don't want something that just feels fake.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if I were to even accidentally put something on Black Hawk Rock's surface that isn't really there. And the people who I'm trying to convince that this is an historic site find out about that is even if I honestly screwed up, then they're going to not trust anything I say. So we have a
And you put a lot of work into that.
yeah, we have a responsibility to be honest, I think.
That is true.
Yep. So let's take another picture. Okay, now here's the dilemma that everybody who deals with the public who wants to be a success, the problems they have. That is an original photograph of workmen making Snake Alley.
Isn't that posted by Snake Alley, that picture?
It might be. Yeah, I've got
thinking-
several originals that show it being made. Now, if you look at the next picture, which is enhanced, now that is really sharp,
Wow.
but it's not real. There are some things in the background that aren't in the original one. We have no way of corroborating the colors. AI is guessing what that would look like,
Right.
but it's still a guess.
Right.
And if we look at the next one, my point is, if you provide information to audiences, general audiences don't care if it's accurate. They want glitz or something that looks good or looks pretty.
Right.
And there's an awful lot of temptation. I could probably sell more books if all the pictures were really neat. But then they wouldn't really be accurate history books anymore. So there's a tremendous pressure for people who provide information to the public to glamorize things or make it more attractive. And unfortunately, there's all sorts of problems that could come from that.
So would you rather put something out, say an original photo, grainy, you can't make out the really close features,
Yep.
but the temptation would be, I could put this out here and it's really sharp and it looks really good and it looks like you're standing in 18 whatever.
Yep.
Historically, you'd want to put out the first photo.
Right.
But the temptation would be, but this one looks so much better.
Right. And it's not so much for history books. Well, it is for history books. I could sell more books if I made it glitzy. But documentaries, going to film festivals, the temptation is to make everything so that the audience is going, yeah.
Right.
And then if I show an original that's grainy and bad and everything, they're all going, ho-hum. Let's get to something better. So this will be the big dilemma for all people who are providing public information in the future.
I was listening to a record on a record player right over there, and we had a friend in the house, and he says, that sounds really old. And he says, what do you listen to? I said, I'm listening to this. And he goes, oh, it's old because it's on vinyl. It has that sound. When you're going through history and you're looking at the different things from back then, just having that authenticity.
Yeah.
I think to me that makes more sense than something more glamorized. You can put all the fun filters, like people are always putting filters on to make themselves look better. And then when you see them in real life, you're like, that.
Yeah.
It's not how you look. You're beautiful already.
Yeah.
You don't have to pretend to be something you're not.
And one of my rules is if it's a scholarly work, there's just very limited enhancement you can do. But if it's for general public historic use, you can improve it. You can enhance it, as long as you label it somehow that this has been enhanced, and that you're sure that it's accurate by verifying colors. For example, colors. What color is a uniform? Well, you can find out what color that uniform was and tell AI to colorize it with that color.
Right.
And you can then use that in a historic book as long as it's labeled this has been colorized. But if you just say, well, we'll show you in a little bit. We'll show you what
Okay.
problems it could have. Okay, let's take another one here. Okay, we mentioned, I think when we first started, is that social media used to be a source for historical pictures. Mm-hmm. You know, there's pictures of Burlington and all sorts of Facebook pages where people are finding good pictures and scanning them and put them in. Mm-hmm. Well, that's a good source, but it's been wrecked by AI in the sense that somebody gets a picture, enhances it, and puts it in, and doesn't do what I just said, label it, and ensure that it's accurate. So I look at a picture on Facebook now, and I don't know if it's been messed with, and I don't know if I want to download that and save it for later use. So my rule on that is if they don't follow the guidelines, some of the guidelines I'm suggesting, you don't use it unless you can trust the person who is posting it. There are several people who are friends of mine who are very historically minded, and they are sticklers for protocol and doing things right. So if you don't know the person, just be cautious about that photograph.
Yeah. Especially if you're writing a paper on it or something like that.
Yes.
You want to make sure.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and that's true too, because not only the professor will know if you are using an enhanced picture that's been altered inaccurately, and even though the paper may be good, you're going to get a grade knocked down.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just making sure you have a credible source is very important.
Yeah, and in fact, that's what we'll be going through in the pictures. Let's see if we can get another picture up. Okay, now, this is a legitimate use of AI with an original picture. The picture on the left is the scratchy one, the sandy-looking one, the one that's aged and got watermarks. Okay, and that's what before the software came along to improve those, that's what you'd have to use.
Right.
But on the right is how it's you just told it to remove extraneous marks on the picture, and it took out all the watermarks and all the scratches and all the grain, and it's just the one on the right is just wonderful. And if you check it out to make sure that the two pictures are the same except for the distortions, is if the picture on the right really matches the picture on the left, then even for an academic paper or book or a scholarly piece, that is okay to use, as long as you label it restored.
Ah.
And you want to be able to keep the original somewhere in case somebody challenges you. But as long as you label it either as a footnote or a caption under the picture that it's been restored, there is nothing wrong with using that kind of restoration.
Right. Right.
Yep.
Okay, for me,
Yep.
I like the picture on the left.
Well, I do too.
It's like you can hear Alexander Graham Bell, Watson, get in here.
Yeah.
And you can hear the scratches, and you can hear the phonograph, the first phonograph or the telephone, whatever it was, that recording.
Yep.
Or you can have that same thing and tell AI to clean it up, and it just sounds like you're talking on the phone.
Yeah.
That first one, to me, that is
Yeah.
more exciting.
Well, I go to film festivals, and historical documentaries is at the bottom of the pile. I mean, I get beat out by teenagers sticking screwdrivers in their vampire girlfriend's head, things like that. And if I took my pictures and cleaned them all up and colorized them, I'd come home with more awards.
Right.
But then again, I wouldn't feel good about myself if, so. But I the old ones give you the sense that this is old.
Yeah.
But the other ones have its place too. Okay, let's see if we can find another one here. Okay, now here's a big problem. Okay, where are we at now? Can you tell?
Main Street.
Main Street, looking north from the railroad tracks. Okay, and off in the distance, you can see Bluff Road. Can you see the Bluff Road? Okay, next picture, please. There is an old photograph. I can't date it, but it's probably 1880s, 1890s. Same view. Now, I just love that itself, you know. But now, what I wanted to do was get a look at Bluff Road. Okay, so I cropped Bluff Road and then enhanced it. And as we mentioned earlier, when you enhance it, all that does is make the pixels bigger. But after I enhanced it and made it bigger, why don't we flip to the next page? I took that hunk. That's cropped and enlarged. Now I'm going to tell AI to enhance that.
Oh, okay.
Okay? And you can see the bluff there, can't you, from Bluff Road. Okay, let's go to the next picture. Now that is cool, but it's got stuff in there that never ever existed. They call that an hallucination. Can you look down at just past the first part of the bluff, see those houses? There has never been a house there. Never. Ever.
And it says a bus station, Shelby. Is it thinking it's another place?
Well, what it did is there was a banner appeared, and it tried to figure out what that banner said. And I didn't take the time whether that is right or not. In fact, those buildings, lots of stuff on there are just made up. But the important point here is that this is what they call an hallucination. When the AI tool sees something it doesn't know what it is, and it's got to put those little extra dots in, it makes it up. It guesses. It's an educated guess, but sometimes it makes it up, and this never ever exist. So you could see houses in there that's never existed. So my point here is how do we know that that is fake? How do I know that there was never houses there? Let's go to the next one. Oh, that shows you where that circle shows you where the houses are that were never there. Okay, next one, please. Okay, how do I know? Next one. Corroboration, verification. I have tons and tons of photographs and pictures of Bluff Road, and never in any of those pictures is there ever been houses at that spot. In fact, the geology of the bluff has not been altered since it's been made with respect to the house. So what a researcher needs to do is when they do something like what I did with the previous picture, cropped and enhanced, is compare it to what we already know. And if there's things in there we already know that shows that the enhancement is inaccurate, then you can't use it. You can't use it and be honest.
Right.
And so part of the point is that when you are enhancing something, you have to compare your original to the enhanced one and to what else you know to make sure that it is accurate. And if it is enhanced and it's accurate, then you can use it, and then once again with a label or a footnote or something that says that this has been enhanced.
Gotcha.
And then it's legitimate.
It's kind of like there's an old adage for when a banker learns what a real dollar is, he doesn't study fake ones. He studies the real thing, so that when he comes across something, he's like,
Yeah.
So that's kind of what you're doing.
That is exactly
You're studying the real thing to make
Yeah.
sure that everything else matches up to it.
Yep, you got it. So let's get the next picture, please. And so once you can see, there it's very clear that enhanced one is hallucinating. Okay, let's go over next one. Okay, now my point here is that when you use corroboration, when you use something to verify it, it doesn't necessarily have to be another photograph. There are newspaper articles that'll say that the color of the house is blue, and then you would know whether something is accurate or not. So any kind of it really gets down into doing good research before you publish for the general public an accurate enhanced picture.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, next one, please. Okay, now this shows you one of the problems researchers have, and I've experienced this myself. They call it anchor biasing. Now, this is pretend. This isn't really my great grandmother, but I got an older picture of a woman when she was younger,
Mm-hmm.
and I showed it to my Aunt Tilly. I'm telling a little story here, right? And my Aunt Tilly says, well, Grandma Elizabeth had bright red hair. So I enhanced that picture and told AI, colorize her and give her red hair. So let's see what she looks like with red hair. Okay, so the one on the right is an enhanced picture. Now in my head, that's a picture of my great grandmother Elizabeth. Because I have that in my head.
Mm-hmm.
Now I come across another photograph that says this is Grandma Elizabeth. Let's take a look at it. Is that the same woman?
Nope.
Well, and you know why you think that? Because her hair probably is not dark enough, and it could be her at a different age, but you say, nah, great grandma had bright red hair, and that hair is not bright red. Okay, my dilemma there is that I got it in my head that she's got bright red hair because Aunt Tilly told me so. Well, Aunt Tilly could have been mistaken just as much as, who's wrong? The person who says this is Grandma Elizabeth or Aunt Tilly? So I got fixed.
Right.
And when I get fixed, when I do research, could very easily say, dismiss this. This isn't true, and not use it. Instead, if I see a dilemma like that, I have to ask myself, well, how do I know that that's not her and I'm just off on the first one? And then I'd have to do a little more research to find out. And then if I find out after some researching that she didn't have dark red hair, then I knew my first artificial intelligence enhanced picture was inaccurate. So, and that's one of the dilemmas. It's called an anchoring bias. And there's all sorts of things, tricks that the brain plays on you that will keep you from finding the truth.
I think we get our preconceived ideas going, and
Yeah, that's exactly another way of saying it. Same thing. Okay, let's take a look at another picture. Okay, there's the two together. And which one is right? Well, we'd have to research, find out, and then make adjustments. Okay, let's go on. Okay, now here's another legitimate use. Now, I just love that picture. That's from you're standing on Washington Street looking south on 4th Street.
okay.
Now, you can see up there at the top says 4th Street looking south. That was added after the picture was taken. AI will take that out in a lick, and it won't hurt a thing.
Mm-hmm.
Click to the next one, please. There. Now, it's not real clear here, but if you look down there, okay, the trolley car is about on Jefferson. If you get all the way down there to about where Market is, you can see a train car, railroad car.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that railroad car is on a viaduct. Did you know that on 4th Street the railroad track was on a viaduct? No, you didn't.
No.
And that's why I study these things, so that I find these details, and I find them in other pictures, and then I study it. But Hawkeye Creek, the one that flows down in the ravine down here, flowed through downtown, and they built the railroad track was built up on a trestle that went several blocks to be above that, and the street went down below it,
I did not know
underneath it.
that.
Yeah, and later on, when they built Hawkeye Creek Sewer, they leveled that, and the railroad tracks and the railroad tracks and the road are level now, but the road used to be 10 feet below the railroad tracks.
See, I would have saw that, and I would have thought, oh, there's an AI just sticking something in like your hallucinations. But that's a for real.
That's a for real one, because I know.
For real.
And then there's a church in the background there. Do you see the church? That was the old Cumberland. There was a Cumberland. It was a Presbyterian church.
Okay.
And then it was torn down, and then later the railroad, railroad vets building was there. Where used to be a lot of rock and roll going on there, and then it's torn down, and the Burlington Gym is right next to it now.
Okay.
Okay, that's just an interesting. But my point here is, you can remove stuff that was added afterwards. If you're sure it's added afterwards, you can remove it, and then maybe some kind of note saying what you did. But that's a legitimate use. Okay, now let's go to the next one, please. Okay, here is something that's very tempting to do.
That's a fun picture.
I love that picture. Do you know where that's at?
A snake. Wait, is Snake Alley up in the
Yes.
background of that?
Yeah, so that'd be 6th Street.
Okay.
And so you're on Jefferson looking north. Now, I wanted to study what's behind that. So I told AI, remove the wagon, the man, the people in the background, and the horse. So let's get to the next one. And told it to enhance it. Now see, that's the power of AI. It did all that for me. But once again, when it removed that wagon and that man and that horse and everything, it extrapolated what to put in the background, extended what's all around there and put it in the background. But it's guessing. There could have been something there historically, part of the road that it couldn't figure out, didn't know.
So they just made it bricks.
Yeah, in different parts of Burlington, we got islands now, separating the roads and stuff, sides of the roads. There could have been a little divider there or something. So if you don't know, if you can't really remove something unless you can corroborate it, that what you're seeing is accurate. So I wouldn't use that. In fact, I'd use the other one anyway because it's neat.
Oh yeah, yeah.
But this brings out a good point. If you're trying to study things just to learn where things are at, like the bridge, the viaduct, and stuff like that, it's okay to do this as long as you keep it in your mind. I don't know if this is 100% accurate, but boy, this helps me figure things out.
Kind of helps you visualize it without.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay, let's go to the next one. Now, here's the picture on the right is of Jefferson Street, and it's looking. The picture was taken from a building on the alley between 3rd and 4th Street, so we're looking towards the river. And the funny thing about that picture is, how did they take that picture and not have anybody in there? By the way, that picture is probably like about 1852, 1853, somewhere in that neighborhood. Very early picture. So it's very tempting to say, AI, add some people. Make it look like it's a busy street, and it'll do it for you. But that's fake, isn't it? In fact, if we look closely, we might see Abraham Lincoln on a bear. I don't think AI would do that. I mean,
is that a Tesla back there?
Yeah. So you got to, when AI will help you cheat, but it can also give you an inaccurate picture on its own. It's honestly trying to do a good job, but that is fake. And as an historian, I wouldn't use that picture.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Maybe it was like a Sunday where everyone's at church, so they can get the clear shot of
That's probably what it is. And it would probably be, well, I don't know, the lighting. The lighting would have to be from the south, so it's probably in the fall or winter. And it looks like it may be a morning picture from
the shadows.
well,
and
no,
things.
the shadows
The shadows
actually
are coming
shows
from
it like it's almost noon, doesn't it? If the sun was in the south. Well, anyway,
It's high noon.
it's high noon.
High noon.
Maybe there's a gunfight somewhere.
Okay, corral.
But it's awful tempting to add things. Mm-hmm. But if you're using it as if you're trying to be an honest public provider of information, you cannot add stuff. Then it's fake and borders on propaganda, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay, let's see one more. Okay, now have you been to Gibby's? Did you guys grow up here?
Gibby's was just before my time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
I've heard stories.
Is it
Yeah.
the popcorn dude?
no. This was the old high school or Apollo. Across the street was Gibby's, which was a restaurant. And the kids on their breaks, lunch break from high school, would go over there and get soda and smoke and do all sorts of things. And I went to the junior college up the hill from there. And then when between classes, we'd go down there and play cards and stuff. Okay, you can see the picture on the left is the original. Okay, what I did is I told the AI to enhance it. And what it did is it extrapolation. It saw that it looked like a peak roof, so when it fixed it, it made it into a peak roof. Okay, now let's go to the next picture.
It looks a little whiter.
Yeah,
Made it whiter.
Yeah, it did. It cleaned it up too. But for all we know, the real shape of the roof might have been this way. Mm-hmm. And the AI have no way to extrapolate that. So, which is the real? Well, I know which is the real because I hung out there. But I've also got other reasons. Let's see the next picture. Okay. Corroboration. Look at the pictures on the bottom. Those are all the same building, and you can see that the peaked roof is accurate.
What I was picking up is just on the left of that roof is just a little bit of the smokestack or chimney,
Oh,
and there's nothing on the AI one.
I didn't catch that.
That one disappeared.
Okay. So, and then it left it out. So, and that would have been a mistake then if I used the enhanced one without watching it carefully.
Right.
Now, somebody's going to say, what's the big deal? Well, once again, this probably wouldn't be a game breaker. But some kind of detail could be a game breaker because you get it in your head that this is the way something was, and then you reject evidence or build a whole thought process around something like the railroad tracks. Mm-hmm. You know, this isn't as important as the railroad tracks, but we want to be careful that when we study the railroad tracks, that any extrapolation can be verified with some
Right.
other way.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yep. Okay, let's move on. Okay, this is I love this. That is my father.
I was gonna say I thought that was your dad.
Yes. And we think he's 21, 22, 23 years old. He was in the Iowa National Guard in the 1939.
Mm-hmm.
And he stayed in, and he was in the 113th Cavalry. And Japanese bombed Pearl Harbor, and he was federalized. He became a U.S. soldier. And he trained on a horse because he was cavalry. But anyway, that picture's got a scratch on it, and it's not as sharp. Now let's move to the next one. Now look at that picture. I'm just stunned by that. It's colorized, and it's cleaned up, and it's sharpened. Now, here's what AI did. How did it know what colors? Well, it recognized that he was a U.S. soldier, probably a World War II soldier, and it knew the colors of the tent and the uniform and everything. And it gave him flesh tone and all that other stuff. So as long as we label this, it's a colorized enhancement, it's usable, it's accurate. So, think about genealogists who have all these family histories. If you can have a colorized picture that you can corroborate, it just makes the whole experience so much better, so much more realistic. Now let's move to the next one, please. Okay, now, what if you had that picture in the middle? Okay, I had that picture in the middle, and I told AI to colorize it. Well, look what it did. The picture on the left is what it came up with. Okay, and then I came across the picture on the right in a magazine, and it was a reenactor. And it's the same uniform, only he's got a red vest. So what color is an actual colorization? Well, I've got AI's guess, and I've got some reenactor saying what it is. I'm more inclined to go with the reenactor, but I at least want to have one or two more pieces of information before I show a colored picture. So that one, the problem there is if I use that one on the left, the AI color, that is totally and completely wrong. And if I had published a book and people respected me and they saw the picture on the right somewhere else, they'd say, oh, that's wrong. We know that they wore blue vests. And that's where your responsibility lies for being as accurate as possible.
Right.
Okay, let's try another one. Another picture, please. Okay, what do you do with historical artwork? Not photographs, but artwork. Well, that is a painting of Lee's surrender at Appomattox Courthouse in 1865, and it's an original work. You treat that the same way you treat a photograph. If it's got scratches or watermarks, you can clean that up. But you can't add anything to it, take anything away that's in the original picture. You couldn't, if you wanted to be sneaky, you could change his pen to a ballpoint pen, But my point is that if you want to be honest and accurate, you have to follow all the same rules.
Well, if you're going to change it to a ballpoint pen, I think you should change it to a pen with like a poofy thing on the top. So
Yeah, the little
writes, it wiggles.
With a feather.
Yeah,
That's with the big feather.
yeah. Okay, now flip to the next one. Now this is, I don't know if I've been in here and talked about the murder of William Martin, have I?
I don't believe so.
Okay.
No.
Well, this is a local story about a bunch of Meskwaki Indians killing William Martin over Little York, Illinois. And later on, a bunch of militia tried to kill Chief Tama, our Chief Tama. And the people of Aquaka came to his defense. Well, I did a book and a documentary on this, but there was no photography at that time. This is 1833 when all this happened. No,
And on the prairie.
1832 and 1833, yeah. And so I hired an artist who I described the scenes, gave him the detail to make them accurate, and I had him draw a bunch of black and white pictures for me. And it showed it in a film festival. And one of the judges, and he made, I don't know, maybe 10 pictures for me, drawings, originals. And so I own them. They're original. It's not like they're an historically original. And I only paid him $200. I should have, he wanted to be in a movie, have his work in a movie. So he only charged me $200, but he could easily charge me $1,000 or more. And but I showed at a film festival, and one of the judges said, "Well, we really took a lot of points off because they weren't color pictures."
Oh.
And from a movie, a Hollywood perspective, you would do that. But how much would that have cost me?
Mm-hmm.
I made this film for $300 or something, and I would have been in the tens of thousands of dollars if I would have had an artist draw colored pictures.
Right.
Well, that was done, I don't know, maybe 10 years ago. And that was before colorization was easy.
Mm.
Now in 3 seconds, next picture, please. I can have that.
Oh.
And that is legitimate in the sense that that is not an original historic photograph, that or painting.
Mm-hmm.
That was my own commissioned work.
Mm-hmm.
And so if I want to colorize it, I can. Now, if I do redo the movie and colorize it, I'd have to have a disclaimer at the end saying that the original artwork was done in black and white, but was colorized. Just, to be honest.
Right.
But that is perfectly legit.
Wow, that's a big difference between the first and the second one. I like the first one though. I like the
Yeah,
style.
I did too.
Yeah.
But the judges didn't.
Uh-huh.
And certainly, well, actually, it did win an award in Sioux City. I showed it out in Sioux City, and the audience out there really liked it. So, without it having it colorized.
Mm-hmm.
But, what are you going to do? So, in this sense, if it's not an original piece of work, then, what's the difference for accuracy purposes if it's an artwork that you created yourself?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and I think, do I have another slide there, Bev?
That's it.
Okay, that's it. So, the book is plug. Here comes the plug. Is available at Burlington by the Book and Amazon. It's $18.95. It's not a very big book, and it's a neat book to look at all the pictures and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But I've tried to get a common language so that journalists could use this, or historians or genealogists who would know how to label enhanced pictures and when they can and when they can't
Right.
use them.
Right.